So good morning everyone, especially to you, my Mary Jane Byong. And by the way, I am Camila Vin H. Franco, and today we're going to talk about the human memory. So what is memory? Memory is an organism's ability to store, retain, and recall information and experiences. It is our ability to encode, store, retain, and subsequently recall information and past experiences in the human brain. So everything that happens in our life will be restored, or we can recall it through our brain. So the sensory memory. Sensory memory is the shortest term element of memory. So sa types of memory, ang sensory memory is the shortest term. So the sensory memory is the perception of sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch information entering through the sensory cortices of the brain and relaying through the thalamus. So the word sense is manini siya ang ato ang sight, hearing, touch, or smell, and etc. So, the ability to look an item for a second and then remember what it looked like. So, muna siya isa ka example sa kaning sensory memory. The ability to look an item kung nakita-awon nga usa ka item and then imuhang madumduman. And then another examples of this is the haptic memory. So anything that uses the sensation of touch also uses your haptic memory. For example, when you feel a raindrop on your skin, your haptic memory records that sensation. So, di ba kung matuluan na nga to ang skin o raindrop, so ma-remember na to nga day ang feeling or sensation ana. So, helping you recognize what's happening. So let's proceed to short-term memory or the working memory. Short-term memory is where memory is recalled without practicing something that happened recently. It is dependent on the regions of the frontal and parietal lobes. It is a kind of sketchpad for temporary recall of the information which is being processed at any point in time and has been referred to as the brain's post-it note. So the examples of this is where you park your car this morning, or what you had for lunch yesterday, and then remembering details from a book that you read few days ago. So that's are the examples of short-term memory. Then next is the long-term memory. So the long-term memory is the ability to store more information for long periods of time or a lifetime, like phone numbers, names, and addresses from when we were kids. So long-term memory can store much larger quantities of information for potentially unlimited duration. So sometimes a whole lifespan. Like for example lang kaning about sa tibok sa tong tibok kinabuhi na to ato ang as long as ato ang ma-remember. So the capacity is immeasurably large. So dili siya kung sa cellphone pa dili ma full storage. So nga na. So one of the examples of these are the important dates. So, usa man ang mga important dates like birthdays, anniversaries, isa na siya sa mga appeal sa long-term memory. And then, kanang mga memories nimo sa bata pa ka, katong na nakaibuot, like, imo na remember imo mga childhood memories sa una, so, grabe kadaghan. And then, by the way, the long-term memory is divided into two, further main types of exploit or declarative memory or implicit or procedural memory.
I will discuss about the four types of memory. The first one is explicit memory. The second one is declarative memory. The third one is episodic memory. And the last one is semantic memory. So now, what is explicit memory? Explicit memory is one of the two main types of long-term human memory. The one other is which implicit memory. Explicit memory is the conscious, intentional recollection of factual information, previous experiences, and concepts. So these are the examples. When do you use explicit memory? You use explicit memory when you are consciously recalling information. So, mag-recall kag mga nangahitabo, okay? Yung mga nangyayari sa kahapon, sa yung nakarang araw. So, that is the part of explicit memory. Alright, so, recalling your memories of events from your life, remembering information you have learned when taking a test, and recalling upcoming appointments. So, yung mga darating pa ng mga appointments natin, mga darating pa ng event natin, na gagawin natin. So, that is the part of explicit memory. So, nabilong siya doon. So, the second one is declarative memory. By the way, what is declarative memory, guys? Declarative memory, a type of long-term memory that involves conscious recollection of particular facts and events. Okay, sleep does in fact lead to a benefit for declarative memory. Conscious memory of a particular fact or event. So, magkalapit lang sila na sa explicit memory. Declarative memory such as what you had for dinner last Tuesday. So, yung mga example, yung birthday mo yung nakaraang buwan. So, alam mo at maalala mo kung sino yung mga bisita mo, na inimbita mo, tapos yung mga handa mo. So, alam mo pa yun. Naalala mo pa yun. So, that is declarative memory. And also the examples of declarative memories is the fact or memories of past event that can be declared rather than performed. Example, might include an important life event. So, sino yung darating pa, yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, yung sino yung darating pa sa birthday mo, sino yung darating pa sa mga party, or kung ano-ano pang mga event na gagawin mo sa buhay mo. So, maalala mo lahat yun. So, that is a part of declarative memory. So, let's proceed to episodic memory. Episodic memory, a type of long-term memory that involves conscious recollection of previous experiences, together with their context in terms of time, place, associated emotions, etc. Those results suggest that participants were using episodic memory to recall the presented words in all conditions. A conscious memory of a previous experience. The hippocampus is critically involved in informing episodic memory. So, examples of episodic memory is yung mga what? Yung mga time, for examples, yung time na nasaktan ako, ganon. Yung nasaktan ako sa pag-ibig, alam na alam mo yun kung anong petsa yun, kung anong time, what is the date, during nag-suffer ka, tapos, your graduation, kailan yun na-held yung graduation mo, yung mga Thanksgiving party mo, or etc. That is the part of what? Episodic memory. So, nare-recall mo yun, no? Nare-recall mo yung mga nangyayari, yung petsa, kung saan, place. So, that is part of episodic memories. So, yung mga emotions mo, doon, naalala mo yun lahat. Doon, it's a part of episodic memory. So, let's proceed to the last one, semantic memory. What is semantic memory? A type of long-term memory involving the capacity to recall words, concepts, or numbers, which is essential for the use and understanding of language. If patient lost semantic memory, they struggle with the knowledge of everyday objects. So, talagang mag-struggle mahihirapan tayo kapag yung malulost yung patient ng semantic memory. So, hindi natin siya ma-recall kapag naapektuhan na yon. So, recollection of a word, concept, or numbers, the extraction of semantic memories and associated emotions. So, for example, some example of semantic memories are knowing that grass is green, mga ganon. Knowing how to use scissors, mga ganyan. Recognize the name of the colors. So, it's a part of semantic memory. So, that's all, and thank you.
Good day, Ma'am Vyong. This is my report of implicit memory. What is implicit memory? Information that people don't purposely try to remember is stored in implicit memory, which is also sometimes referred to as unconscious memory or automatic memory. This kind of memory is both unconscious and unintentional. Example of an unintentional. Unintentional bias refers to the attitude or stereotypes that affects your understanding, actions, and decision in an unconscious way. Our bias are a lifetime of experience and cultural history that have shaped us, your perception of others. Example of procedural memory. Musicians or professional athletes are said to excel in part because of their superior ability to form procedural memories. Procedural memory is also important in language development, as it allows a person to talk without having to give their much to, to proper grammar and syntax.
Good afternoon, everyone, especially to Ma'am Regine Biong, our psychology instructor. I am here to report my our psychology topic, which is the memory processes. So the psychologists distinguish between the three necessary stages in the learning and memory process: encoding, storage, and retrieval. Melton 1963, so the encoding is defined as the initial learning of information. So when information comes into our memory system from sensory input, it needs to be changed into a form that it can be restored. So there are three main ways in which information can be encoded. So number one is the visual or picture. It's the process of encoding images and usual sensory of information. This refers to the process by which we remember visual images. For example, if you are represented a list of words, each shown for 1 second, you would be able to remember if there was a word that was written in all capital letters or if there was a word written in italics. Number two is the acoustic or sound. It is the process of remembering and comprehending something that you hear. So acoustic sound also includes using your inner voice to recite information. To strengthen memories, for example, like mentally going over facts or a test. Learning alphabet or multiplication tables can be an example of acoustic. If you say something out loud or read aloud, you are using acoustic. So the third is semantic or meaning. And speaking semantic encoding is a conversation of a non-verbal mental representation, the reference, and to semantic structure suitable for expression the same. So here is the example of semantic encoding in memory. It's remembering a phone number based on some attribute of the person you got it from, like their name and other word-specific associations are made between the sensory input, which is the phone number, and the context of the meaning is the person's name. Memory storage. This concerns the nature of memory stores where the information is stored. How long the memory lasts for duration, how much can be stored at any time, capacity, and what kind of information is held. The way we store information affects the way our retrieve it. There has been a significant amount of research regarding the differences between STM and LTM. Information can only be stored for a brief duration in STM, 0 to 30 seconds, but LTM can last a lifetime. So there are three stages in memory: the sensory memory, short-term memory, and the long-term memory. So I have example for this memory storage. For example, if a group of participants are given a list of words to remember and then asked to recall the fourth word on the list. Participants go through the list in the order they heard it in order to retrieve the information. Memory retrieval. When we say retrieval, it is about recalling or recollection. During recall, the brain replays a pattern of neuroactivity that was originally generated in response to a particular event. It's like echoing the brain's perception. And also, this refers to getting information out of storage. If we can't remember something, it may be because we are unable to retrieve it. When we are also asking to retrieve something from memory, the differences between SCM and LTM become very clear. Because SCM is stored and retrieved sequentially, but the LTM is stored and retrieved by association. So, recalling the memory of a scenario is an example of retrieval. The memory had been stored into long-term memory, and you were not consciously aware of it. There are three main types of memory retrieval: recall, recognition, and the relearning. Occurs when the information must be retrieved from memories, but the recognition happens when the presentation of a familiar outside stimulus provides a cue that the information has been seen before.